On March 20th, 2025, Assassin's Creed Shadows was released, another entry in one of the most recognizable game franchises of all time. 3 days later, it hit a peak of 64,825 concurrent players. A day after the game peaked, on March 24th, a game called Schedule 1 launched. A low-poly game about selling drugs, made by one guy. Within 1 day of its release, the game reached 116,000 concurrent players, surpassing Assassin's Creed. Then, by the end of March, 400,000. And on April 6th, it hit an all-time peak of 460,000 concurrent players, compared to Assassin's Creed's 64,825. It completely swept the floor with Assassin's Creed. Now, Assassin's Creed is still successful, obviously, but one project had an enormous budget, a massive team, years of development, and one of the biggest brands in gaming behind it, and the other was made by a single person with virtually no money involved. And yet, Schedule 1 embarrassed it. So, why am I talking about indie games? Isn't this video about animation? Well, the animation industry is starting to look exactly like this. We're watching animation slowly move toward the same tipping point that gaming already hit. Small, creator-driven projects begin to outperform massive studio productions, at least in a cultural and critical sense, but in many cases, in outright popularity and success. It feels like lately there's no shortage of Western indie animation to enjoy. The Amazing Digital Circus, Hazbin Hotel, Smiling Friends, and hopefully soon, Knights of Guinevere. Oh, and while editing this video, Gameverse was just announced, which is another great example of what I'm talking about. These shows are pulling in insane amounts of fan passion and engagement, while other studios keep pumping out flop after flop. I mean, what is this? Did you even know about some of these shows that came out? If you follow indie gaming, this should all feel very familiar, because gaming went through the same exact transition. As the tools become more accessible, the barrier to entry drops. You still need skill, but you don't need a studio or millions of dollars to get your idea out there. Here's a personal anecdote from me. I'm a videographer. You still need skill to shoot a good video, but it's far cheaper and easier than ever to get into the art form. Digital cameras make things simpler for someone to learn, and high-quality productions have become cheaper. Digital tools lowered the technical bar, and when that happens, something really interesting occurs. The bar for the idea goes up. It's easier than ever to create things, but harder than ever to stand out. You need a good enough idea to rise above the noise. You already see this in gaming. AAA games with absurd fidelity and production value consistently get beaten by small indie teams who focus less on realism and polish and more on ideas, tone, and player experience. Games like Hollow Knight, Another Crab's Treasure, Lethal Company, Peak, Repo, and, again, Schedule 1, small teams, big ideas, massive success. Animation, on the other hand, has lagged slightly behind gaming because the quality barrier admittedly is a bit higher. But that barrier is dropping fast. The Amazing Digital Circus isn't a fluke anymore, it's a pattern. Gamers got tired of AAA games feeling safe, bloated, and hollow, and they wanted something new, something different, something personal, and indie games filled that gap. The same thing is happening to animation. And if you're like me, you've watched a ton of great Western animation. Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, The Owl House, Over the Garden Wall, and eventually you want more. A lot of people turn to anime and things of that nature. I mean, so did I, but there's still a large market for Western animation, and that's where indie swoops in. I mean, when you can watch one of the best animated shows in years for free on YouTube versus paying for another streaming service to watch something like Big Mouth 2, it's hard not to see why indie animation is getting more popular. I've personally thrived in the current indie gaming scene, and indie games didn't used to be this common or this good. The variety is amazing. And that's actually why I started this channel in the first place, just to talk about how awesome and interesting some of these indie games are. Over time, I've realized that animation is following that exact same path, and I am so excited about it. Lots of smaller teams, lots of distinct voices, vibrant, weird, and personal ideas are getting lifted into the spotlight. This trend, animation being propped up by the community, is one of the best things to happen to the medium in years. I mean, have you noticed how popular these shows are getting? Hazbin Hotel has Funko Pops. There are Digital Circus figures at Hot Topic. I can buy Helluva Boss shot glasses and vinyl records. To think that us watching these weird animated videos in middle school could lead to a whole revolution of indie animation is something that I'm just very proud to see. The weird kids have officially infected popular culture, and it's spreading fast. And speaking as a former weird kid, I'm here for it.